Greetings and salutations. Every time a salutation, you can think, hello, everybody. We are TerrorCrave. I'm here with Jason as always. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? I was laughing, man, because you counted up to come in instead of counting down. You went at one. I was like, oh, he's getting right into two. I was like, oh, he's going the
Did
other
I
way.
do that? Good evening. I didn't do 3, 2, 1. I should have done.
You
Oh
went
my
1, 2,
God.
3. Yeah.
Oh wow. All right.
Not that it doesn't matter, but it was just, you don't see it that often.
No, you don't see that at all, actually.
Only here.
Only here at TerrorCrave. We do things our own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The backwards way? Is that the right?
Yeah. No, just breaking the rule, man. Breaking the rule.
Breaking the rules, breaking the law. That's right.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, guys, be ready to call 911 because this show is going to get crazy.
Yeah. Send a fireman. It's hot.
I don't know where we're going with that.
Yeah, no.
We're just excited to see you guys, man. Thank you very much for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. We got a pretty good show for you guys this evening. We are going to break down 4 different items. We're going to talk about 2 different trailers that have released over the past couple weeks, or actually one the past 2 weeks, and then 2 movies that have also pretty recent. One just dropped on Peacock on Friday the 13th. Yeah, so if you're paying attention to any type of release dates or anything, the first movie we're talking about, we'll just jump right into it, is called Sick.
Sick.
Yeah, Sick. It's by Kevin Williamson, who wrote actually the Scream movies, which is a nice segue for later as we talk about the new Scream trailer that dropped. That's one of the trailers. But yeah, it came out. I was lucky enough to be able to watch it on Friday the 13th. It had that, took place in the woods and the cabin, so it had that Friday the 13th vibe.
A little extra. Extra. Yeah. Get
So
you in the mood for the Friday 13th.
Exactly. Now, you and I have not talked about this, I don't think, all outside of the show. I really wanted to kind of get your impressions of the film. So, on the show, to get your first impressions, first reactions. What did you think of it, my friend?
I think it was good. I think that first it takes place when COVID first hits.
Yep.
In those first few months when it was scary. Well, for some, it was scary, because if you caught it, you were going to die. That's what we thought, That's what we thought. And people did. A lot of people did. So that made it even more scary that, and I'm like the poster child for don't catch this disease. Don't do it. So, it was scary at first, but there weren't a lot of movies made about COVID and those a few like the what was the one we watched one where they were filmmakers and they were doing the Zoom thing because they didn't want to be in person.
Yes. Yep, that was one. And there was one called Host. I'm sorry, it wasn't called Host. There was one about everybody was logging in. Do you remember that one that they were doing the seance online?
Yeah, that was a good movie, man. With the actors.
Yeah.
They were actors acting as actors or whatever, but
No, that was a different one. We're talking about 2 different ones. So there was there have been a couple. One you're talking about, and I hate when we talk about movies and we can't think of the names of them. So.
Well, that's how good they were. But I know which one you're talking about. That was with the were they high school or maybe like college?
No, they were like ladies in their mid-20s. You know what I mean? And they had all logged in and they were playing like they did a seance, and then they all started getting haunted online. And getting taken out. I can't remember the name of it, but it came out. I thought it was a really good, well done movie. But we're getting off the beaten path.
Yep. Again, I thought this one was good. It had a little bit of comedy in it, just enough, not like straight out comedy, but things that you lived through COVID, so you know these things. And my main one that comes to mind is when at one point she's trying to get in the car with the lady. The guy's chasing her, trying to kill her. And the lady's like, well, hold on, let me put my mask on. And it's like, what? You know, this guy's like coming now to kill this girl. And the lady's trying to put her mask on. And then she's like, okay, do you have a mask? You know, ask her. And the lady girl's just like, are you effing kidding me?
Yep.
That was probably my favorite scene, I think. Just, it was funny, man, because it was very realistic.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. I loved the movie. I did. I might be in the minority or minority. It sounds like you enjoyed it too, but I thought it was really good. I loved, to your point, I loved the way that it took off or it started. You know, they're in the grocery store, or the shelves are bare. It is just a few weeks into the whole COVID thing. You know, the lines at the grocery store with everybody standing
No toilet paper.
distances, a certain distances apart. There's no toilet paper or anything like that. So it captured that, to your point, that very scary, uneasy feeling of those first few weeks of COVID. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it's early April when this movie is taking place, and
Yeah.
it's these people are going. You know, like a lot of people did, right? If they had a little vacation homes or whatever, they were going and they were staying there, and you know, out in there. And this girl had a they had a was more than just a vacation home. That was like a huge
I know,
like just
man.
this huge uh I mean, I guess I called it a cabin, but a
Like a
huge
log cabin.
freaking
Yeah.
log mansion. I'll call it a
Yeah.
log mansion. I mean, it was really, really nice. So her and her friend went out there to stay. And I just thought it was great. You know, me, I have this whole, and maybe it is because of watching these movies that took place in the woods, you know, at too young of an age, but I still have that phobia of camping or being in the woods by yourself. I do, you know, or just even if it's just you and a friend and just in the cabin. And that captured that whole thing for me.
Yeah.
So that, you know what I mean? It was, and they were just and just out there and by themselves and away from neighbors and all of that. And then these people attack or people. And at first you think it's just one guy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I liked that too. Let's go back to the beginning. The beginning was reminiscent of Scream to me because
Yeah.
it follows this one character for about 10 minutes, you know, while he's being attacked. He's the one that's in the grocery store, you know, and then you follow him home. And I thought it was just really well done. A lot of it, the way the camera, I like the way you see the bad guy approaching him in the very beginning out of the closet.
Yep.
It was good, and it was good, and it did have the comedy, as you said.
It did.
Also,
It had
a little humor.
it's things that I mean that was a pretty serious time, but you kind of look back and laugh at some of the things, like, you know, like, excuse me, is there any toilet paper? It's like, no, man. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy, different things like that. And the mask thing, of course. But, you know, some people were just like, I'm not wearing a mask. And, you know, and other people was like, oh my god, they're not wearing a mask, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy in between, like, I think I probably should be wearing the mask, so I'll wear it. So I did like the beginning. I loved when they got to the cabin. I loved the little scenes where you would see the bad guy or the intruder
Mhm.
here. That, you know what, I love that in a movie where you can see them back behind their shoulder or something. That to me is just like, oh man, you know, I love that.
Yeah. You know, as the audience, I think Hitchcock was one of the ones who talked about that, right? In directing, he was like, let the audience see the bomb, basically. Let the audience
Yeah.
know it's there, and then the anticipation, the anxiety is it, and you know, and that's kind of what it is because you see, like you said, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That one point in particular, the guy goes out to get his luggage out of the car, and you see behind him as he's checking his phone or whatever he's doing, the guy walk into the house.
Yeah, that,
You know,
like The Strangers, to me that was a creepy movie because the same type of deal, you know, the part where she's lighting her cigarette at the sink or whatever, and she's just standing there, and you see this guy just standing, you know, he's just, you know, he's not trying to hide at all. He stepped out and he's just
yeah,
standing there. It's like, oh my god, you know. Same thing with this one, man. You keep seeing this guy here or there. And another part that really got me was when she finally ended up, like, well, I thought killed the bad guy. I was like, oh well, that was quick. You know, now she's got to escape. But then, like, you look up and in the doorway, there's another guy standing there.
yeah,
You know, with the same type of mask on and everything.
yeah. And that's something I liked about it too, is that they kept their masks on, because I think that really adds to, you know, I, there's a movie that it's not quite like this, but there's a movie called Hush that came out
Hmm.
6 years ago. Deaf girl in the cabin, and there's this killer out
Oh,
there
that's
stalking her.
freaky.
Right? Thought it was good, but once he took his mask off relatively early
Yeah.
in that film, and then once he did, to me, the tension broke a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though we know it's a regular guy underneath those masks, the mask brings a little something else to it.
Sure.
Scream wouldn't be Scream. It wouldn't be as scary. And I know we're going to get into that, but if it was just a regular man chasing it around, I don't think it would
No,
be.
no, I think I agree 100%. I think it's like the mystique of wondering who that person is and why he's there.
Yeah,
Uh, if you see the killer, you almost can kind of figure out, in a way, the backstory why they're there. If it's just a person in a mask and you can't see what their features are, you don't know why they're there. You don't know, why they're killing people. Are they crazy, or is there a purpose behind it? And I think it's a little more scary if you don't know there's a purpose behind it. Like at first, I didn't know there was a purpose behind this. I thought it was going to be like the strangers type of thing. You know what I mean? But then again, there was a spot in the movie where a scene in the movie where he was watching the girl or whatever. You know what I mean? So he's like, okay, well, I guess he's going after her now.
yeah, yeah. No, I did. Yeah, so I like the fact that they did keep their mask on, the Mystique, and I like the surprise of the two people. At how they don't show us on the very beginning, because it was at first he's just like, this dude is everywhere.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? At
yeah.
one point they'd be trying to get out of something, the next thing he'd be booking at full speed through the front door, and you're like, holy smokes! That it was just like, this dude is on it, and then you'd
But
be like, oh, okay.
we've been fooled into believing that that can happen by somebody like Michael Myers or Jason. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, oh well, it. So you kind of don't know that there's another person.
No, no, I
You know
didn't
what I
know
mean?
until they showed us. You know what I mean? It's like you said, that scene where it was like he came in the door and it was like, damn, somebody else. Um, and I liked the whole purpose. I mean, they had their reasoning obviously was askew. You know what I mean? But I did like how it was really all COVID related. This whole movie
Yeah,
was, you know
yeah,
what I mean? It took place in the early days of COVID, but this whole purpose and the impetus behind everything was COVID.
yeah, yeah.
And I liked how that scene that they showed originally that made that one guy drive all the way up there to begin with, which I guess he never wishes he had. Now, but that
No,
one thing that she put on Instagram, you know, was kind of the clue of why this was happening. And then it
yeah.
comes to find out why at the end, what I did like too, there was a lot of cool mods or shout outs, I think, to previous horror films. One in particular, I'm not sure if you caught it or not, but there was one in particular. Once you find out the reason why the people are doing this and all of that stuff, and they start to say their names. You know where I'm going with this at all?
I no, no. I'm trying to remember as you're doing. I'm following the scene right now.
The lady, we're talking about. I'm not going to give the whole movie away, but I'm going to say things. The father and the mother. Father's name is Jason. The mother's name is Pamela.
How did I not catch that, man?
Pamela and Jason Voorhees. That wasn't their name. Voorhees was not their last name, but Pamela and Jason are their
What was
names.
the son's name now?
Oh God, I think his name was Chris or something. I don't know.
Oh, it would have been better if it was like Michael.
Yeah, I know, right? Wouldn't it have been? But I
Yeah,
did like the
but that's
fact. I
awesome
did.
though.
Yeah, I did like that. That wasn't a coincidence. I think that was pretty.
No, no.
Yeah,
I'm sure they
yeah,
did it on purpose.
yeah. No, I really just all around, man. I thought it was a great movie. I really did. I thought it was a good horror movie, and it did what it was supposed to do. Had some great jump scares.
Yeah,
Had some really good jump scares. I thought.
yeah. Good
And
twist. And
yeah,
I
and
don't
the
know if we
twist
should
was
say what
cool.
the twist was right now. I think let people watching it and figure the twist out. I want to say
Yeah,
it because it was great, but I don't know.
no,
What do you think?
I mean, we've kind of, no, I think we've said enough without, we've talked
Okay,
about how
giving it
it's
away.
COVID based and this Instagram post, and we've kind of said it all right anyway, so we might as well just throw it out there. It's up to you. But I guess we could leave a little bit left to the
Yeah,
bedroom.
let's leave it. Let's leave it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good part.
yeah. It is a good part, but yeah. And I thought the two girls who carried the movie, the victims, I actually like that both of them survived. There's two final girls in this. You
Yeah,
know,
that's you don't see that very often.
no, you don't. And I liked the one. So Pamela Adlon. I don't know if you know who she is. She's an actress. She's been in some things. Um,
Which one was she? The was she the one that
well,
broke her
she
leg, or
no, that's her. I was about to say Pamela. Her daughter is Gideon Adlon, who is the girl who broke her. No, I'm sorry, not the girl who broke her leg. She's the girl who, the main girl. I guess the one why this was all happening.
okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Not the other one who was getting the bag put over her head and
I
all that.
know.
Yeah, that was terrible. But her mom is Pamela Adlon, who's a pretty uh, good actress, and you've seen her before. I know you have.
Okay,
Comedic actress, and she's done some good things. But no,
probably in a movie with my wife. Is that what you're saying?
she's a little bit more hard. Pamela Adlon's a little bit more hardcore. I gotta say what she's in now because I can't just not talk about her without referencing something that she was been in. But that was her daughter, Gideon Adlon, girl. And I had never seen the other girl before, the African American girl, but I thought she did a great job also. Pamela Adlon has been in Better Things. It was a show that came on FX. It was called Better Things. She's done a lot of stuff actually that I can't think of right now.
Wait,
she,
Pamela Alden, or is that who you're
Adlon,
talking about?
Adlon.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. She was in This
Oh,
Is Us. She played a doctor in This Is Us, or it's like one of the psychiatrists at one point. She's been in a lot of stuff. Bumblebee. She was in Bumblebee. She played the mom of the girl, I think, in Bumblebee. I know her from Louie. The show called
I
Louie. That
I remember Louie.
Yeah. So I know her from that. She's just been in a lot of good stuff. And
Oh, she's like in. Oh, she did the voice in Big Bang Theory. And
yeah.
I go Star Wars.
Oh,
Mr.
Star Wars.
Pickles. Have you watched Mr. Pickles at all? Have you ever watched that?
I have not. Is she in that too?
Yeah, I think she did a voice in that. It's a cartoon with
She's
the
actually done
dog
a
is
lot of voice
the
work. I didn't
dog is
realize
the
how
devil.
much she's done. She's actually done a lot of
Yeah,
voice stuff.
dang
Wow.
on.
Yeah.
He was in Butthead.
The most recent thing that she was in was a show that ran on FX for quite some time, for about a good 5 years. It was called Better Things.
She's done a whole lot of voiceovers, man. If you look down through there, Chicken
Yeah,
Little, Lilo and
that's what I'm
Stitch,
saying. I was surprised.
Rugrats. Wow.
I didn't realize she'd done that much. I just know her from her live action.
Oh, 6 Feet Under.
She was in that too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So she's definitely
she
been in
was the
some things.
voice. She was the voice in that too. She was more of a voice actor than
Huh.
gracious.
Interesting. But yeah, no. So that was her daughter, and I recognized her from another good show. Oh God, my brain is just terrible. The Society that ran on Netflix for one season about the kids who had gone on a field trip, and when they come back to the town,
Oh,
every adult is gone.
yeah.
And
I actually just put that on my list because they look pretty decent.
it's good. I actually liked it, and then it got picked up for season two, and then it was one of the casualties of COVID.
Oh,
There were so many shows that have been picked up for season two across all different networks
yeah.
that during COVID they just decided to cancel them instead of moving forward with them.
Hmm.
Okay. But yeah, no. So guys, if you haven't seen it, go check out Sick. It's on Peacock. Very, very good movie. We both enjoyed it. Sounds
Yeah,
like
I'd give that probably a 8, 8.5. That's pretty
me
decent.
too. I'm gonna stick with that exactly. We're gonna agree on that one, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think the next one we were going to talk about, I was starting to feel a little bit hungry until I actually watched it. No, it was actually um what's the name of that one? You turned me on to it and I just watched
the
it.
menu.
The menu. Okay. So I thought that was going to be different than it was. And I think I enjoyed it more the way it was than the way I thought it would be.
Makes
Um,
sense.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. It was a good idea, and that's another revenge type killing.
You know, I it was, and I will say I thought the acting was fantastic. I really did. I there was a lot that I enjoyed about that movie.
Hmm.
I liked the description of the chef when he was describing the food, his little tales that he would tell Taco Tuesday, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh
and
my
the
gosh.
stories that he would regale the audience, both audiences, the us, the movie watching audience, and the audience within the restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I loved how
He-
they put the captions up, like what the meal was. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then there was almost like a comedic thing at the bottom of it. You know what I
yep,
mean?
yeah.
Pretty cool.
So I liked a lot. Like I said, I thought a lot of it was really well done. I don't like a movie where you have to guess the motivations, if that makes any sense. Like why this is happening and things. Not that I need stuff spelled out for me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there was really no real understanding of how this chef got at least 30 people. Would they become a cult after a while? You know what I mean? Or just got, you know,
Gave up.
30 staff members, or it looked like there's a lot of people back there at least,
Yeah.
to go along with this murder suicide.
Yeah, I guess that's a, well, I don't know, Jim Jones. But
I know, but is that what it was? That's what it is. It's just, it seems like it become a cult, I guess, is what his little crew had done, or they exalted him or worshipped him so
I,
much as the head chef. I'm not sure maybe what it was, but the fact that
I
he
think
got
that
them to go ahead.
no, I'd see what you're saying. I think that they were wherever they were at their life, at their stage in life, they were already fragile, and I think that he manipulated them to do these deeds. You know what I mean? I think that they were already on the verge, and you got somebody just in your ear the whole time, like the chef that he brought in there, and he said the mess. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I think that guy was already down because whatever he wanted to be the best chef and he couldn't. Then he goes to work for a guy that is probably considered the best chef, if not one of the two best
right.
chefs. And this guy just downed him the whole time and kept telling him, "You're not good enough. You're not good. You'll never be a chef." This and that, and just drove him to it. But I don't know. I think at one point I would have been just like, if it was me and they pulled me up there, I'd be like, "Nah, man, I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah. Well, well, not only that, so that was one aspect that I had a hard time with, you know. Um, and then the other aspect of it is that these people, and he even said himself, insinuated you could have to the group that he's got there, the patrons of this restaurant, you could have worked hard and got out of here. You could have overpowered us. So
Yeah,
these guys had just said that were these guys just so uh it's like almost they started to believe what he was saying about them, and
yeah,
they needed to die.
yeah.
They because they put up really no fight.
None.
I mean, really, they tried to get away once, and it wasn't like they were
Oh,
whole.
with the chair trying to break the window or whatever, and
That was really it. And then when he allowed them to run,
oh yeah, to run.
besides that, there was really no trying to survive.
No, I thought the
Fight back, fight some of the chefs, something. I don't know. The one old man tried to leave, and I guess they saw him. They saw him get his finger cut off, and I guess that
yeah,
was enough of a deterrent for them to just not try anything anymore.
whatever. I mean, they pretty much, if you're gonna die, if he's already said no one's leaving here, including him, and he's not just talking about the customers,
Yeah,
he's talking about his assistants. I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah,
he's already said nobody's leaving. At that point, I'd just be like, well, if I'm, I'll at least go out trying to get out of here.
yeah,
Whatever it was, I'd probably make it like two steps or something. Like, I'm not gonna boom,
yeah.
No, I see what you're saying.
It just
Just
that to me that
especially
took
the three guys that were sitting there, the three chefs that were sitting there together.
no, they weren't chefs.
They weren't. Oh no, 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 no. They were like some kind of, I don't know what we would have called them, like
Financial
Wall Street
guys.
guys back
Yeah,
in the day.
yeah.
But Yeah, financial guys. That sounds good.
Yeah, because
And John
they had money.
Leguizamo, at one point, he went over and like was trying to rally them, and that's when the
Yeah,
guy jumped up and hit the window, and like one guy, and they're just like, "Please take your seat." And he goes back and sits down. Like, "That's all. That's it." The other two dudes didn't do nothing.
that one dude did try to get up and run, but I think they didn't even trip him. I think he tripped himself and
He fell
fell,
down. Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
got back up, and then he just went back and sat down.
Yeah,
I
like
guess there
what?
was just nobody. I mean, I guess really when you think about it, there was only four dudes, five, the old man too,
Yeah,
and the other dude who knew he was going
I
to
thought
die.
he was going to turn out to be a serial killer or something. The way he acted, you know what I mean?
Which one?
The the um
One who
the
was
one
excited
that
about the
brought
food.
the yeah. But then like it made sense at the end when he already had said, "Didn't I tell you what was going to happen? That everybody was going to die?" And he was like, "Yes." You know, like I don't know. He
Yeah,
wanted to
what was
eat the
his
food
deal?
and die.
That's what I'm
That would have
saying.
been
What was
some
his
good
deal?
food.
Yeah, it just seemed like everybody just decided to lay down and die.
Yeah.
They just never to be burned alive. Even they let him put all those marshmallows on them and chocolates, and
Yeah,
I was just
s'mores.
like, "That's it."
Human s'mores, man. I would
Yeah,
have like as soon as it lit him up, I would have jumped up and took off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna play like I'm gonna let you catch me on fire, but what a terrible way to go, too, man.
I know. I just didn't get it. That part, I just didn't get it. I did like the whole. I like the premise. I like the execution of the
Yeah,
film and everything else. I just didn't buy their motivations. You know
yeah.
what I mean? The staffs nor the victims.
Well, and the
Yes.
final girl, I liked how she came up with the idea for the cheeseburger, and then
Yeah.
like she took a bite and she's like, she's full. Can she get it to go? And you can see it was like, oh. It's like, oh, she got him.
Yep.
So
Yep.
she was just, yeah, you can go now. Here's a cheeseburger. You didn't
Right.
like the breadless meal?
Yeah. I know. Right. Yeah.
They were all excited. Oh, that's genius. It's genius. And then they're like, really? There's no bread?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a bread-free meal.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I did. Yeah. To your point, that girl, she was pretty genius how she decided to get out of there with that burger. I guess she saw that picture of him and making the burger. He was what uh, employee of the week or employee of the month at that old burger spot when he
Yeah,
was
guys.
growing up,
Yeah,
and he
where
looked
he
that
got
was
his
the
start.
happiest he'd ever looked. You know what I mean? And I think
Yep.
that also,
That's smart.
and then plus she was not like the other people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That was made clear to him through the whole thing. He kind of she was also a servant to the people by her
I think it
action.
made sense. I think that um they knew who was coming. You know what I mean? And she
Yeah,
wasn't supposed to be there. And that was one of my favorite scenes when he said, "You're not supposed to be here." You know what I mean? It's like, oh, is that bad for her? Or is that, like, is she going to be the meal? That's what I was
yeah.
kind of thinking. I thought it was going to be a cannibalism thing. I
Did
really
you?
did. I thought that everybody was part of this group. All the customers were all part of this, whatever was going on. And the guy that she was with, the way he acted, I was like, he doesn't care about her. He brought her here and she's going to be like the meal. Because there was a movie that was sort of like that. Like they brought somebody and they were the meal.
Right.
That may have been like a Tales from the Crypt thing or something. I don't know. But I remember like when it was going off, they had her laid up on the thing and everybody was like eating.
Oh,
Like she
damn.
was spread out on the table, but they were like eating. But
Oh,
and then I thought like the meat they brought out, I thought that was going to be, like human flesh or something like that. So it was different, but I enjoyed it.
I did too, but like I said, it took a little bit away from me because I just didn't understand how they just were laying down and dying, so to speak, and without
When you
fighting.
have a sick and twisted mind, some of this stuff makes sense. Like
Well,
inviting a bunch of people over just to kill everybody.
right. No, but not questioning him. I get it. He was doing these
The
things.
other people, the people that
Yeah,
gave
the
up so
people,
easy.
yeah, the victims, why they gave up so easily is really kind of what
Yeah.
I was. Then I didn't understand how the employees. I guess the employees. I guess it makes sense. He was had run some cult, or just basically had become a cult, and they just worshipped him so much they were going to do what he said.
Yeah. What about the lady that was there with John Leguizamo's
Oh, John
and he
Leguizamo. Yeah.
yeah, I can never say his name right. And, how the chef asked her, he said, "Where did you go to school?" You know what I mean? And she said Browns, and he said, "So you have student loans?" She said, "My parents paid." He said, "Yeah, you don't leave." You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's like, oh man, you should have told him like like community college, and I got 40,000 in student loans. He probably was.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can go too.
Yep. I know, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So remember that,
No.
Lee.
Yep. And it was funny, like those little lines, like she was like, "Oh, it's the emoji for me." When they were eating the food, but
Oh, I know.
it was some other, it was a name similar to that, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But they were just trying to like appease that one chef so much, the one who had stabbed him, And
No.
anyway, it's little lines like that were also pretty funny and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so I can appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I would give the menu just great movie again. I loved the dialogue. It kept my attention, but I just couldn't buy that, so I'm gonna give it a 6, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6.5.
Yeah,
Maybe I liked it a little more than you, so I'd give it a 6.5.
yeah, and
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 I thought it was good, and
and the acting was great too. Anna Taylor
yeah,
Joy, that girl, Anna Taylor Joy, is the main girl. She's great, man. She first came to my attention in Split. She was the girl who didn't have any friends in Split. That was kind of
uh, my wife just watched her in a series not long ago. She was on in some
Queen's
series.
Gambit.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
so
said
she's
she was
doing.
really good in that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
couldn't get my wife to watch that movie with me,
I
by the
was about to
way.
ask you if Jen watched it with you.
No, she watched the preview and said no. But I told her while I was watching it, I called her in there a couple of times and I said, "This isn't what the preview kind of makes it look like." I said, "I think you would like this."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I think she does. I think she would watch it and think it was okay because she, like me, thought it was going to be like a
cannibal.
cannibalism thing.
Yeah.
So
Um, we have to give a shout out to Judith Light, also Angela Bauer from Who's the Boss. She,
yes,
she was in the movie
yeah,
playing
uh,
the old lady.
the misinformed elderly lady. So
Yeah.
and and also the lady that was in Ozark.
Yes. Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
which I
She
would
was.
never remember her name, but I knew who she was right away.
Oh yeah, yeah. Janet McTeer,
Yeah,
was her name, and she was in Ozark. Helen. Her name
yeah,
was Helen
Helen.
in Ozark. Yeah, yeah. No, very good, very good. Helen Pierce. Yeah.
Yep.
No, she did a good job too. She was the one that was, appeasing or like almost like making everybody think that maybe they weren't that it wasn't
It
so
was all
bad. She was
show.
like,
It's
"Oh
just a
yeah,
show.
yeah,
She's like,
yeah."
"What? You're crazy." Like when the guy like shot himself. Oh, the theatrics. Like,
I
what?
know.
That's not theatrics. But she was there because she was like a top chef like this chef, right? They
No,
were
she was
like,
a critic. She was a food critic.
oh, that's right. That's right. Because
She was
she
a
was
food.
one that she had like put bad reviews for a bunch of restaurants that shut down or
Yeah.
had to shut down.
Mhm. Yeah. So no, it had the right amount of creepiness and stuff like that. It was just a lot of things that were right about it. Now, if I had more motivation behind some different character choices, then I'd probably be a little bit higher on it. But yeah, it is
What
what it is.
about the police that came? Did you know he
Post,
was?
no, I did not. I did
I thought
not.
they were just going to kill him, is what I thought.
Yeah, I
It was,
thought so
it was
too.
fun.
But
Lit the candle with the gun. What the hell?
I did not until he started pointing. Then when he started going and pointing, I was like,
I was
oh,
like, oh man.
he's
Yeah, I was
winning.
the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was like I said, it could have been higher for me, and if I understand
Yeah.
character, it would be
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
So the previews that we're going to talk about, the trailers that just came out, um, I know you love like we were just talking about Sick, and you brought up how much you loved like being in the not you being in the woods, but the movie where it takes place in the woods in an old cabin, running through the woods, stuff like that. Now, these trailers are different. So I don't know if horror has both of them get away from the rural areas or the country areas. They're out of the woods now and they're going
Wood,
to the city.
Woodsboro, for Scream specifically,
Yeah, yeah, but that's not
out of the woods. Yeah,
city type place. That's a rural, town, I guess.
yeah. No, Woodsboro. Yeah. So which one are we gonna jump on first, real quick?
Scream.
All right. Um, he says I'm not. I'm a different type of whatever he says something. He says something to the effect of, "I'm a different type of killer, or a different
Yeah.
something or other." Dude, it's very obvious. He's this one has a little. Even though they're all, I don't know how I can make this sound right. Even though they're all killing people, so obviously there's some sadism or very
Yeah.
sadistic tendencies within them. This one just seems a little bit more harsh.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit more.
Going to the city, man.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
get
know what I
tough.
mean? And I like the fact that he's got, I don't, maybe he has in previous movies, but using a gun, like he does in this one, man. I mean,
Hmm.
it's different because, New York, right? You're in New York. So these guys in the New York store aren't taking the BS, right? So they approach him pretty
No.
hardcore, and both these owners, I guess. And then he just fucks him up, messes him up, and
Yeah.
and and takes the gun and starts blasting through that store, that little convenience store. I thought it was good. I liked it. I liked that Herbie from Scream 4 is back. I just
Yeah.
love how they're plucking characters from the different movies from Scream. Gail's obviously back. Gail Weathers. She's the last one standing because obviously not Naomi Campbell. Nev Campbell's not in this one,
Yeah.
and of course Dewey.
Dewey's
Uh,
dead.
David Arquette. She got killed
Yeah.
in the previous one, so she's one of the last OGs standing. So it's good to see her again. I thought it was good. I'm excited about it, and it just looks like this guy's been a collector of previous ghost faces as well. He's got like almost a scream cave and bat cave, so to speak. You know what I mean? That they stumble upon.
I hope it does okay. I have a feeling that it's going to be there. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Really?
I do. I think it's going to be not. I think it's going to be one of the least liked films.
Wow.
I do.
Why do you think that?
Um, I think when you have a character that you change the environment of where they are, they're going from a small town of doing killings, and you put them in a city, a big city where they're doing killings. I think that it's different. I mean, think back to the Friday the 13th of Jason Takes Manhattan. I mean, that was just like awful, man. Like to put him into New York and
Well, New York is actually that the title of that movie is misleading. Jason Takes Manhattan, because he's in New York for maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most at the very end. It should
yeah.
have been Jason Takes a Cruise, because
Yeah.
because
It
no, I
was
mean,
mostly on the boat. Yeah.
the movie majority starts off in Camp Crystal Lake, and then he somehow finds himself on the boat, and then it goes on from there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's neither here nor there, but I had to make that statement. But I think the two different tones also, because by Jason Takes Manhattan,
He just ended
this
up in the
happened,
wrong place.
huh?
He just ended up there, wrong
Yeah,
place. It wasn't like he planned it.
right. But it's also that true. But I mean, the tone of the film. This Scream looks a little more harsher in tone. I mean, would you agree with that? A little harsher, a little
I
bit
think
more
so.
violent, a
I
little bit
think
more
so.
sadistic, as I said. So I think that alone, it's not going to be as corny. You never saw. I can't imagine going back and being two horror buffs at that point, looking at Jason Takes Manhattan, being like the preview for that, and being like, man, that looks a little more, a little more serious.
No,
You know
no.
what I mean? It looks a little bit more hardcore than these previous Friday the 13th. So I hold a little bit more hope than you do that I think this one will be. I actually think it looks really good,
You
and I
you know what
love
you know what
the
made me
other.
the maddest about the whole Friday the 13th, the Jason Takes Manhattan, is when he walks through the street and he kicks that radio out the way, and they say something to him and he turns around, and what does he do? He just picks his mask up and then puts it back on and turns
Right,
around. Like, really? So
that's
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean
no, no. You're
that
right.
just
You're right.
flashed.
You're right.
I,
It
I
was like,
hope it
see,
turns out good.
I think it will be, man. And I'll even try to see this in the theaters. We can talk about it in real time, so to
And if
speak.
you think it's worth my time, then I'll go see it.
I think you'll like it. I think
Or
you
if you
definitely.
think, damn, he was right.
It looks a little spoilery almost in one scene in this. Like Gail might not make it out of there.
I saw that too.
You
It might
know,
be
I
her
mean,
time.
yeah, she might be. I like to say she might be the first killing, but she can't be because I see scenes with her with
Oh
other
yeah.
people later on in the films or whatever. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
wouldn't put it past them to. I don't. Yeah, I
Not
think
to
you're
say she
right
won't
though. She
die, but I'm
isn't.
saying it won't be the
Yeah.
first. I don't think she'll be like the first. There's always a first kill in these
Yeah.
movies. Or no,
Hmm.
actually, that's sometimes not even the first kill because old girl, she didn't die in the last one, even though she was part of that play that Drew Barrymore role,
Oh yeah.
Jenna Ortega from
Yeah.
Wednesday. She technically didn't die in the very beginning of the movie.
That's true.
She was attacked but didn't get killed. But no, so I'm excited about that. That comes out in March 10th. Then 5 weeks later or so, we have the other movie you were talking about that's transferred from the country to the
Yeah.
city. I think this takes place in LA, maybe. Evil Dead Rises. Is that correct? Did I get it right?
Yes. Yep. And I will go see that in the theater. At first, I didn't know how I would like that one because Ash isn't in it, um, and it takes place in a city. So I didn't know if I would like it, but after watching the trailer for it, oh yeah, I like it a lot. Looks
It
good.
does look scary, man. It's again the one that came out in 2014, that Evil Dead. We probably talked about this in previous shows. You know, the original Evil Dead trilogy they were campy, right? They were
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
silly.
yeah.
Evil Dead. The first one was probably a little bit more hardcore. Then Evil Dead
Hmm.
2 added a little bit more of that comedy in it, a little crazy, gruesome humor.
Which was
Army of
almost
Dark
just a recap of Evil
Part
Dead.
One. Yep.
Yeah,
And then Army of Darkness just went full madcap, crazy.
yeah.
Into different universes or whatever.
Cult classic.
Yeah. And then they had and then it was dead for a while. That was pun intended. And then they had that reboot that came out in 2013, 2014, which complete 180 from the tone of those previous ones, that we just
Yeah.
talked about. Very hardcore, very just dark, really, really dark. So my point is, this tone seems very similar.
Hmm.
It's just a
As a
different setting in the city as opposed
Yeah,
to
same setting. You mean similar as far as the 2014 one?
in tone. Yes, and
Yeah,
grimness and horror.
yeah. Which
Yeah,
I like. I really
darkness.
like the way they did it.
Yeah, yeah. So this, and I think the studio has a lot of faith behind this as well because this was originally earmarked to be a HBO Max, straight to HBO Max, and then they saw it and were like they had enough faith in it to put it out in
Hmm.
theaters.
I'm really curious to see how this happens. The storyline, I guess, is what I'm looking forward to. I know that it's going to have the scary parts, the gore that I like, but I want to see how this woman ended up this way. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's what I'm curious to see if she got a hold of the Necronomicon, and if so, how did she get a hold of it? Things like that.
I think the trailer showed us a little bit about that, right? I think they find it in the basement of the building.
Of that, yeah, yeah, yeah. But how did it get? Did the girl from
Yeah,
the
I see what you're
first
saying.
one?
How did it get
You know
there
what I
from the
mean?
cabin? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I do hope
yeah,
they show that it's not just there. You know what I
right.
mean? And they find it. I hope they show whatever it is, somebody putting it there. And that makes sense. Or somebody taking it that found it at the cabin and they live in that building or whatever. Somehow I hope they show how it got from the cabin to this apartment building.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That would be good to know that as well. While we're on Evil Dead, did you watch Ash versus Evil Dead?
I did. Yeah. That had what, three
Had
seasons?
3 seasons. I
Three
only watched
seasons.
the first season, so I never saw the last two. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I did. The first season was real good. I liked the second one, and the third season was okay. But I enjoyed them. I like
And
Bruce
that's
Campbell, man. And
and
they stuck right with that original feel.
yes, that's what I'm saying. They stuck with the same madcap tone,
Yeah,
as the first three. To your point, first three films. I mean, it was a direct continuation of
which was good. I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah, yeah. Well, cool, man.
Wait,
So we
wait.
got some.
While we're thinking about cabins, what about knock on the cabin door? Is that the name
Oh
of it?
yes, that comes out on in February in
That looks good.
very few weeks from now. Yeah, I am excited about that as well. This looks like it's good to see M Night kind of making a return. Old was good. I thought I didn't know if I enjoyed Old as much as I mean, I didn't do well, and I think it got decent reviews. I didn't like it as much as
Hey, it was all right. It was. I
yeah,
watched it, but I watched it one time. That's how good
right,
it was.
yeah. Now this one, Knock at the Cabin Door, looks like it would be, done well, and I think it will be done well. It looks really good. And what I'm surprised about is the apocalyptic things that are happening outside of this cabin. Like I didn't know what the whole premise was going to be. I mean, the original previews were very,
Just home invasion type.
yeah, home invasion thing, and you see him saying that he needs to save the world. One of these people must die. But what I didn't realize was going to happen is they're actually showing us that shit is going down. Stuff is going down.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Sorry for the language. That stuff is going down on the televisions and things like that outside of the world, outside of this cabin. That maybe there's some truth to what he's saying. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That
yeah.
in order to save the world, one of you must die here.
What
Um,
was the movie? It was a continuance of Cloverfield, with John Goodman. Where remember
Cloverfield
how that?
Lane,
Yeah, how he was talking about, it's the end of the world and they're this, and the couple that was there, they thought he was just crazy. You know
right?
what I mean? Like he's like, no, you can't leave. You have to stay here. And but he was telling them the truth. There's creatures out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. I like that whole thing. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think this movie's gonna be good.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. All good stuff. Some three good films here in the next few months. Actually, right, February, Knock at the
Yep.
Cabin Door. It's February. It's March. Evil Dead Rises in April. So three good movies to look out for in
Yeah.
the next months. Yeah. Well, man, I think just to recap, we both liked Sick. Definitely
Hmm.
recommend it. We also liked Menu at a lesser rate. So give it a shot. It's not a terrible
Yeah.
movie. It was just lacking some things for me. But yeah, check those movies out, guys. Let us know your thoughts. As you always do, please feel free to share. We appreciate you guys watching. Jason, I think I've said it all, man. Am I leaving anything out? We forget anything tonight?
No, I think that's all we had for tonight.
Here we go. Well, cool. Well, guys, like I said, we definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to share us. Don't forget to hit the like button. Listen to us where you like to listen to your favorite podcast. You can always, if you'd like to see our pretty mugs, always put us up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, all right, man.
Widescreen.
Yep, widescreen.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, my friend, it's been a pleasure as always, dude. You have a great rest of the evening.
You too, Lee.
All right, later, guys. Take care.